Right, here we are again. This is technically episode 1 and a little bit out of the ordinary again because I'm not just going to be interviewing Mark. We're going to be a bit backwards and forwards so we can answer a few questions about who we are, why we're doing this, and then I'll just delve deep into Mark's mind. But
for what it's worth.
I don't know where to begin really because this is the first one, but I don't know, perhaps Mark, if you can kick off with a bit of your background, how it all started for you, maybe even what you were doing before you done this, and we'll just sort of go on from there.
Sure. Well, it started a very long time ago for me, actually.
Actually, because it's the first one, I don't actually know if I should be looking at you or the camera or that camera or what.
I don't know. A bit of both, perhaps. I don't know.
I'm sure we'll find these things out as we go along anyway.
But yeah, so it started for me, actually was at high school. And my father was a financial director of a telecoms firm based on Prince of Wales Road or just off Prince of Wales Road in Norwich.
Are you allowed to name them?
Probably not.
Are they still going?
No.
Well, you can name them, can't you?
Business Telephone Systems.
Oh, God, yeah.
A very long time ago. And I needed some extra pocket money. And I said, do you have any summer jobs, any weekend jobs, that are going on? Because I wanted to build up my piggy bank so I could buy a motorbike when I left high school. And it kind of started there for me. I actually did my work experience there as well. And when I left high school, they offered me an apprenticeship and paid for me to have my driving test and put me through my driving test. So I was given my company car and said, off you go to Cambridge, Regent Street, in the middle of Cambridge. For those that know that, that's right in the centre, CB1. Bit of a nightmare getting there, considering there was no dual carriageway A11. No such thing as sat-nav, and it was my first trip in a car behind the wheel on my own, so yeah, a bit scary. But that's where it all started for me. Yeah,
and you were there for how long?
I was there for several years. They were eventually bought out by a company called Data Sharp, which evolved into Portal, which is another local business some of you may know, recently acquired by WaveNet.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for a time. And after that, I went and joined APR Telecoms and
Mr. Andy Rackham.
Yeah,
so if I can get him on this show, actually, it's been a while. Yeah.
Well, I kind of moved around within the telecommunications companies in Norwich and Norfolk, really just to further my expertise on different systems. It went from kind of old Masterline DXE when I joined to Siemens, to Samsung, Panasonic, and then most recently our kind of flagship product that we're now deploying as MT Comms, which is Xelion, and it's far more than just a phone system now. But I'm sure we'll get onto that later.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said all along, it's not going to be too salesy, these things, but we're of course going to try and give everyone ample opportunity, whoever sat in that chair, to promote themselves and again encourage business locally. So don't be afraid to sell yourself, Mark. Albeit we'll benefit to me as well.
We'll get there at some point, I'm sure. But I'm very happy that we're sort of hosting it and sponsoring the Norfolk Business Show. I think it's a great idea of yours. And actually think we should have a little background about where you started now, Danny.
Well, for those who don't know, I'm obviously part of MT Comms now. It's recent news, something we haven't done the proper launch for anything yet, but I started an IT company way back in 2009. It was a franchise called Pink Connect, and I'm sure many of you remember me from that. And I like to think grew it quite successfully in Norwich. Over the years, I was certainly one of the larger franchisees in England, and I dabbled in other things as well as that over the years. I've still to this day got an involvement in an estate agency, and I've just always been, I think, that entrepreneurial type. Even prior to my days running businesses, I'd always try, I think, and start a business of some guise or another. I used to do web design back in the sort of late 90s, before anyone was doing web design. It was just coding, and yeah, used to sell just a placeholder basically for a web page, just with their name and address and location on, an email address, and I used to sell those for like 500 quid just for one page, and no one else was doing it back then. So yeah, I think I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. Then I went on to doing photography, and done a bit of pub and club and nightclub photography. Done it for Pam's House. A lot of you I know from there. Years gone by, just used to go around, walking around with a camera, and put the photos up on the website.
I expect you probably got pictures of me then, because I actually used to go
Quite
to Pam's
possibly,
House
yeah.
quite a lot when I was younger.
I have blackmailed many people over the years for some of those photos, so I've still got them stashed away somewhere. But yeah, just always try to, I don't know, try something. But for most of my early years, I worked in a factory, was clocking in, clocking out, and always wanted to do something else, do something better, but just never had the courage, really. And then, as I said, went into the telecoms and quit my day job. And it was the best thing I ever done, because freedom it gives you, and everything else is just so much better than clocking in, clocking out. It's I'm no millionaire, put it that way, but it's just given me the advantage. I feel like a millionaire because I've got that ability to take off time when I want. I know you're a keen golfer as well, but it's just that ability to have a day off if you want the day off. And of course, we all try hard and we all work well at our businesses, but it's important to not just be rewarded financially, but with time. And time, I think, is something I've learned over the years, more valuable than anything.
Far more valuable.
So yeah, ran Pink Connect quite successfully for 15 years, and then last year they sold the head office, and I didn't have a choice. Basically, I had to kind of sell to them, and I did start doing my own thing, if you like, but tied in with another company, which hasn't really worked out. So I'm now here, but yeah, it's so far so good, and it's looking very promising for us both. I'm sure you'll agree.
I do. I think it's big things. Big things are coming for sure.
Definitely. I don't know. So, I mean, tell me some of the challenges you faced over the years, because I know I've faced them. Every business owner can relate to that. There's always challenges.
There's certainly been plenty. I think one of the biggest challenges that we had in the early days, maybe of setting the business up, was partnering with the right people and other businesses, suppliers. I think mistakes can be made there. I'm certainly guilty of making a few wrong choices for the business, but I think that with the experience I've got now and the team that we've got, we've kind of got rid of all of those little issues now. I mean, they were never really issues from a service provision point of view. It wasn't anything that was ever a bugbear of a client, or a client suffered with anything. It was a bugbear of mine, perhaps, and maybe with too much admin to do off the back of something, or maybe relations with certain suppliers. The other thing we've had challenges with in the past has been CRM. I think having the right CRM is very, very important. We've decided and settled on more of a service-based workflow CRM we use, called ServiceMate. It's designed and aimed more at trades, but we've had a company called Hazelnut Digital. Hi, Hazel. Thank you for your help in basically taking our ServiceMate trade CRM and turning it into a CRM that really is tailored to us. So it handles all our support tickets, all our sales quote process, job bookings. It's even a sat nav for the engineers.
Well, this is it. I mean, most people think of CRMs as a sales tool, and that's it. Their soul's, product. That's the whole reason for being there is as a sales tool to chase people, basically, and get the sale over the line. But I think what ServiceMate does is far beyond that. It's as you're now going to tell me, I'm sure it's just how to service the customer well.
It has got some really nice touches that a lot of the other ones didn't. So, for example, one of the engineering team picks up a job or a survey and starts his job, navigates his way to site. The client will actually be notified by SMS or email to say that their engineer's on their way. So if they've forgotten, they can get back to the property, or actually if they can't make it, they contact us and we don't get a failed appointment. I think, as we touched on earlier, time is extremely valuable, and there's nothing more costly than wasted time, which this really eliminates for us. Just makes us more efficient.
Yeah. No, I'm already looking at that with glee and thinking, this is pretty cool. I'm only used to using CRM in the conventional sense, so to have all those bells and whistles is nice. Obviously, we're not going to just talk about technology on this thing, but obviously we're technology based, and it's important to get our input into the technology side of things. But is there any financial challenges? How was the pandemic, for example, for you?
The pandemic had a huge impact on us, actually. We had recently, in the run-up to the lockdown that we didn't even know was about to happen, we'd started to install and supply CCTV systems. And when the pandemic hit, there were a number of things that happened. The first thing that happened was Panasonic decided that they were going to throw the towel in and come out of the UK telecommunications industry. As Panasonic Platinum dealers, obviously that was our core product, so we had that challenge to face. We also had to get all of our clients up and running, working from home, because everybody was locked down. Businesses had to essentially shut their doors, and a lot of clients weren't ready for that. So we were super busy at the beginning, setting all that up. Once we had everyone working from home and we'd satisfied all the needs of clients and helped them out, we kind of found that actually we weren't really doing a great deal of work. We took advantage of the CBILS. We furloughed all but one of the staff, which was me, basically, and we kind of ran the support side of the business and closed the rest of it. But when we had the extended lockdown, we found that a lot of property owners were kind of slightly concerned that they've got this building sitting there they haven't got eyes on. So we started to get a bit of CCTV work come through the door, and that picked up. But I actually used that time during COVID. Actually, I used it to learn how to play golf. but as well as that, I also used it to kind of have demonstrations and speak to many different suppliers across the communication sector. And I kind of had my short list of 3. And the clear winner, as far as we're concerned, was Xelion, which is why we've partnered with them.
One of the interesting things is, I like to think anyway that my old company, if you call it that, were a bit earlier into the game than perhaps you were, because it's pretty much all we sold. We never sold the conventional box on the wall. We never, had the engineers locally. It was all just, posting out handsets. And one of the amazing things for me was, the phone started ringing at the start of lockdown. How the hell are we going to run our business from home? I just take the handset home, plug it in at home, it'll work. And they went, really? Yeah, you've had that for like 5 years, and they just didn't sort of grasp that they could do that. So it was really nice for us. So one of the massive benefits to us was that. The only issue, again, we've always done more IT as well as telecoms. So that was the real bugbear, though. People trying to work from home, and the security aspect of it was just just horrendous, because they were on their own home networks, unsecure home networks, and
probably shared with their neighbour.
Exactly, and it was a security nightmare. So that's the only real bugbear we found. but certainly the telecom side of it, was great, and it really made us look good because we were kind of ahead of the game on that one. But yeah, I know that's the way it's going now, isn't it? It's all very much hosted and very much the ability to answer, as the MT Comms tagline, work from anywhere, connect to everything, is it?
Yeah,
Is that right?
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, but it is, it is very much the way things are going, and very much mobile, being able to work from anywhere. So those are kind of challenges, that financial and other thing. Have you had any staffing issues? Shall I shut the door a bit? No, have you had any staffing problems over the way? Along the way?
Not really, no.
I know they're a great bunch.
Yeah, I mean, our most recent kind of employee is 3 years this April. He'll have been at the business the business, and I've actually worked with Bo off and on now since the very late 90s, actually.
Well, it is very interconnected, shall I say, the telecoms world. Everybody seems to know everyone.
Especially in East Anglia.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But no, Bo's background is he was like a pole fitter for BT, so they used to put the new poles up next to the old ones, move all the services across. So his into telecoms was very much network level, yeah. Whereas ours is more client side. We did everything after, the service provider had finished their job. Whereas these days we're kind of doing everything. Because it's all cloud services. So.
Sorry, I'm keep looking over here because I've got a load of questions. I've pre-filled out for Mark, so I'm just going to run through some of them when I get stuck. But
the only other things the other thing I would say with regarding to staff is we do have a reliable network of subcontractors, and we also offer subcontract services ourselves. So I've got friends in business all over the UK who have their own telecommunications businesses, and we help them out. They help us out. And it's just always been the way that I've worked is, there's so much more to be had by having a good relationship with your clients and your suppliers.
Yeah. Well, as you know, I used MT Comms myself because we didn't have boots on the ground. We didn't have engineers out in vans like you do. So we often called on you guys to go and recable a building or all this and the other. So it's I always say the people who you think of as competition are very often the people who you end up doing a lot more business with.
Look at us now.
Yeah, exactly. Proof in point. I don't know. What does your typical day look like?
Well, it can vary wildly, to be honest. I tried.
Other than on the golf course over here.
Well, yeah, I mean, you say that, but it's a bit cold outside at the minute anyway.
It is, yeah. I'm only a fair weather golfer myself, as you know. But
that's it. But no, my typical day at MT Comms, I suppose the most usual day I would have would be coming in here, developing relationships with clients, looking at new business opportunities.
And if I can just say here, by the way, we're based in the Close, Norwich. It's the most beautiful office. We're above JHW, Chris Vines' business. Got the top floor of that, and it is a stunning... Oh, Christ, have I just moved the microphone? No, I've moved the camera. How have I managed to do that? But it is the most stunning office. We literally look out the window and can see the cathedral.
Yeah.
And it is quite a sight, quite a lovely office to have. Let me just...
I'm back. There we go. It's a live show today. First one of.
Oh, what is it doing?
It's on Follow You, isn't it?
How is it? I'll have to rewind this. I think you can talk to it. You can say words and say, follow me or something like that. And that's probably what I've...
You said you're above the JHW, Chris Vines' business in the Close. And now that I'm talking, it's decided to follow me again. There you go. Maybe it's something about talking about JHW and being in the Close that the microphone likes.
Yeah. So where shall I start back up there? So
that's fine. So yeah, the view out of the main office where Matt and Bo and the guys sit, They actually overlook the lower green, and they can see the cathedral, which is a very nice view. And if you
not
can't
quite
see
as nice out here, but
no, not quite as nice out here, but you can see the castle.
It is a lovely
out of Mum
location,
Daddy's
and
office.
yeah, we're very central. So for those guests we do invite to come along on one of these, you haven't got to walk far. Hopefully, lovely office. So I was going to ask, typical day. What does it look like? And
So
what do you get up to?
typical day would be arriving here at our office and replying to emails, picking the phone up, booking meetings with clients. And I try to spend as much time working on the business as I do working on sales for the business and new client acquisition, as well as existing client development. When it needs to happen, I'm not afraid to roll my sleeves up. I still like to get my hands on.
Yeah.
Quite often see me and Bo out on site installing CCTV in hotels up and down the country, or running structured cables and Wi-Fi access points in places.
Oh, great! And what's been your proudest moment to date? What are you really chuffed about? And
There've been a couple over the years, but I think the most notable and recent being proud of is our move into this building and our location in the close. When we've had offices before, they've been serviced offices, or we've had a shared office with one of our partner businesses, and it's always been okay. But predominantly, my office has been at home. One of my spare rooms at home is an office, because the offices we had simply weren't big enough for me and the business to be in. And now I've got my own office, you've got your own office, we've got a nice big office overlooking the lower green that the lads can sit in, storeroom, and it's all we've got the whole floor. So
it's lovely.
That's probably one of my proudest moments of late.
I think many people would be interested to know where you get most of your business from. Not just now, but over the years, where do you think has been your biggest source of new business?
I think our biggest source of business has been actually new business from BNI. If I'm being wholly honest, I think as a business we've been in BNI for about 8 years now.
Sorry to interrupt, but some of you will know Mick Sutcliffe, who was in BNI for many years.
Yeah, I was just getting on to that.
Sorry,
So
my first introduction to MT Comms was through Mick. So.
Yeah, but the business has been a member of BNI for about 8 years. During COVID, Mick decided he didn't really want to come back off furlough and said, I'd like you to buy my half of the business, which, I did. And I had a decision to make about where I was going to find new business from. Obviously, that was Mick's, department. When me and Mick were in partnership together, I was very much still involved in the tech side. I suppose I was more of a technical director than a managing director at that time. I suddenly had to replace the sales funnel that Mick brought to the business. So I went, and we had some period of membership left after BNI, and just kind of fell right into it, really. But the transition from a sort of really technical guy to someone who's working on sales and kind of moulding the business into what I want it to be has been quite a journey.
I remember getting Mick trying to get you along to one of the first meetings, and it took quite some doing. He seemed to always suggest you were very shy and didn't want to come to anything like that.
And now vice president. Also word of mouth. We kind of pride ourselves on doing a good job for clients, and our clients talk to their clients, talk to their suppliers. And so on and so on.
Do you have a process of, after you've done the job, actually asking for the referrals, asking who else they could recommend you to?
Yeah, so I like to have a chat with my clients at the end and say, are you happy? How did we do? What could we do better? And do you know any businesses that you think we can help? Any other businesses that you think we can help?
It's very important to frame it like that and say, that you're really just genuinely offering to help, because a lot of the time people assume it's being sold to, or who else can be sold to is not what you want to hear, is it?
No, I mean, I'd much, when we go to look at our clients and they've had several quotes, quite often it's comparing apples and oranges. There's a lot of people, as you say, like they perhaps, maybe what you usually might be not exactly the example I'm going to say, but they want to sell a phone. They want to put a phone in a box and sell someone a piece of plastic they can put on the desk. And we're not really, people can have phones if they want them.
Yeah,
but
it's not about that, is it?
No, it's about the right solution for the business. And I think that in this day and age, communications for business has become a little bit maybe unmanageable for some people. They've got a phone on the desk. They've got web chats they need to check. They've got emails. They've got WhatsApp. They've got all of these different communication channels that their clients and suppliers are using to engage with them. And it's all over the place. And, as I say, one of the reasons we like the Xelion product is it's all packaged up in one nice little, I hate the term single pane of glass, but it is a single pane of glass. Which doesn't require any hardware at all. I mean, we've got some of our users out there are mobile apps only. Some of them are handsets only without any. And it really is a tailored fit.
Yeah. And is that your biggest product now? Do you think that is?
It's my favourite one.
Yeah.
It's my favourite one. But honestly, we are just as busy fitting CCTV. As we are telecommunications. CCTV was always kind of a bolt-on product for us. It's never our core product, but it's just something that we're good at. As well as CCTV, we're also busy equally with structured cabling and hanging wireless access points and things like that.
And what are you perhaps most excited about for coming up?
Well,
other than vehicles.
Well,
or was that what you're going to say?
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. So the very imminent launch of MT-Com's IT support services and cybersecurity, which is why we've become business partners. Why Danny's come on board. I've always known we would have to do IT at some point in-house. Kind of regret not doing it before now, but I think we have been a very traditional telecoms type business rather than a.
I mean, I think it's fair to say, a lot of the IT companies, certainly for the last 5 to 10 years, have started doing telecoms. A lot of the telecoms companies, perhaps more recently, have started doing IT. So yeah, it is. They all are one and the same. And I think I've found as well, so often, you get asked a quote, and if you turn around and say, "Oh no, I'll do this side of it, but I won't do this side of it," they'll actually prefer a supplier who can do everything. And
indeed, I think there used to be a lot of mileage years ago where people went, I want them to do this, I want them to do that. These days everything is so interconnected. People they want one bill, they want one throat to throttle,
exactly. They want one person to shout at,
and they want someone they can rely on that can come and fix it all.
You say, I laughingly say they want one person to shout at. They genuinely do, and it's honestly how I've sold my business over the years. It's to say, okay, don't go ringing me for, you want to change where your phone rings or you want to turn it off and on again. That's not what I'm there for. But, use the team, use the support system that's in place. Yeah. If you find you're not getting a satisfactory service, you got my mobile, give me a call. And it's happened a few times over the years. But I've made sure it's resolved. And I like to think that's why people buy into a company like ours, and not the likes of BT, Sky, TalkTalk, whatever, the big guys, if you like, because you just get lost.
You really do.
And I like to think that's what a lot of people, sometimes they pay a bit more as well, but that's what they're paying a bit more for, is that personal service.
Yeah, they are, and supporting a local business as well, I think, in this day and age is very important. Not to say that all of our clients are, very, very, very local. We've got clients as far away as Dorset and up as far as Manchester. But the bulk of our business is in East Anglia, and I think there's a lot of mileage in working with those businesses.
So how do you balance your sort of personal and business life? And
probably not as well as I should, to be honest. I work quite a lot. I'm often, when I go home, I will often work in the evenings. But I have made a bit of a rule for myself, 2025.
You have to. You absolutely have to. Yeah,
is to really keep the weekends for me now, and I wouldn't necessarily say stop working weekends, but only work weekends if I want to. Not because
it's different when you enjoy it, and when you're working for yourself, it's very different because you can quite easily be sat there in a laptop, even if the TV's on in the background, but you're doing a bit of work. You're not. It's not something you don't enjoy doing.
No.
And I've been known to, well, maybe perhaps not recently, but I've been known to sit there and work till 10 o'clock at night sometimes because I'm still enjoying what I'm doing, building quotes, just doing something work related. If you enjoy it and it's for your benefit, not someone else's, then why not? There's no harm in it. As long as you work hard, play hard as well. So, you get your time off, you get your holidays in. And, I know you're off next week, so...
Yes, with Mr. Brad Jordan and the 57, I think, this year. Others that are coming for his Portuguese Open.
Yeah, I've done that myself once or twice, but it's far too much golf for me. I thought it was just something we tell the wives to say, we're going off on a golf trip.
But no, it actually is golf.
I know.
I mean, I play golf on the day off, everyone has in the middle.
I did ask Brad for my money back halfway through the first time I went away and said, I thought this was just a ploy to get us to go away, but no, he actually wanted me to play golf. 5 days in a row, believe it or not.
Yeah.
What's all that about?
Yeah, there's a day off in the middle, I think.
Well, still too much golf for my liking. I like golf, but I don't like it that much. But yes, I'm not joining you, unfortunately. But
next year, perhaps.
Maybe just a weekend. I think Viney's doing a weekend, isn't he? Yeah. Okay. I think that just about wraps it up. I mean, just to reiterate again, I suppose what these shows are going to be about. They're all about helping businesses get a voice out there, finding more about them. Hopefully you've learned something from what we've discussed today, and what might benefit you to utilise in your business. I guess the other thing I said I'd always do is ask each person who sits in that chair what would be their absolute dream referral. So, and let's actually see if we can make that happen. So, have you got anyone in mind or a company you'd love to get into?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can make it happen.
Okay. I would love to speak to Briar Chemicals.
Briar Chemicals.
Yeah. So there'd be, we do work on industrial type sites of that nature already, such as P-Town's Training Centre up by Norwich Airport. Not just the engineering works in terms of cabling, but we'd actually like to do their communications as well.
All right. Well, there you go. You heard it here first. If any of you have got an into Briar Chemicals, I'm sure Mark won't bombard them with sales calls.
Absolutely not.
What we're trying to do is just make introductions. So if any of you can make that introduction happen, please shout out and get in touch. I don't know if you've got anything you want to add, or...
all I would like to say is thanks for having me on to pilot this.
Yeah, to walk really far. It's
literally the other side of that wall.
Yeah.
But no, I think this is a great idea, and I'm very proud that MT Comms can host and sponsor the podcast.
Far feedback's been really good, and I've got a list of now over 200 people, believe it or not, who want to get in on here.
That's the first 4 years worth, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, probably.
If we're doing one a week.
I don't know how often I'm going to be able to do them. I don't know how long this is now going to take to edit. It's the first one. We are going to get some help from Ryan Nesbitt, who's going to make us a little jingle and a little bit to spruce it up at the start.
From Scoop Films, yeah.
Yeah. We'll get some help along the way, and we'll get them pumped out, and hopefully, who knows, we might be able to do a couple a week and soon get through that list. I would love to ask, if anyone's got any ideas who we can have in this chair, then let me know. But the list is rather full at the moment. But that being said, we'd really like to sort of start with a bang. So, perhaps really big businesses would be amazing. If anyone knows, I don't know, let's think of a big business. Who could we get in this seat?
I think we should get Chris from downstairs. Chris Vines up
Oh,
here.
he's next. He's next. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. He's next. Perfect.
Yeah. But no, if anyone's got some real dream, I don't know, what's his name? This Diary of a CEO guy. If I could get him sat there,
Stephen
that would be
Bartlett.
cool. Yeah, something like that. If we can get someone really big in here, that would be brilliant. But I'm quite happy with our local business, effort. So that's that's me out for now anyway. Until next time, the business show, the Norfolk Business Show. You heard it here first.